YouTube, what's good? It's your boy, Paul Harris, aka Medusa. Hey, if this is your first time tuning in, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell every time I post up new content. You see this, people? We all know what this is. And if you have enough of these, right, you can buy a lot of stuff. You can buy a house, car, clothes, furniture, food. Damn. You buy food, get your hair done, buy sex if you wanna, or considering that you really can't actually really go out there and do like what most people do. Actually like really win a person over, whether it's with your charm or how you actually really work the mouthpiece. All right? But how many of y'all have actually really looked at the fine print on any bill, whether it's the dollar, the 5, the 10, the 20, the 50, the 100, and if you actually really out there doing the damn thing, $500 bill, right? How many of y'all have actually really have done that? Because if you haven't done it, I suggest you do it right now. Because I'm gonna tell you something about this little piece of paper that says Federal Reserve Note, and it got United States of America. And then the fine print that I'm actually really talking about here, it says this note is legal tender for all debts, private, public, and private. Or in other words, it ain't nothing more than a big ass IOU. Ain't nothing behind this piece of paper. So my whole thing about this, I titled this show Federal Reserve. Private for who? Now, for those of y'all that actually really don't know what the Federal Reserve is, it's a private bank, right? Or banks that for the most part, they can pretty much just do whatever, whenever. Is where that the government, so-called, gets the money from. Now, a lot of y'all might sit there and say, well, wait a minute now, so why are we paying all of the taxes that we do? Okay, who's to say that you're paying taxes? Who's to say that you're actually like, that this country is actually really in debt like they say, or like they claim? Because here's the deal. If this country owe all this money that they say that they do, who do we owe it to? Now, I know a lot of people they'll sit up here and be like, well, China got half of our debt. Now, do we actually really know that to be actual factual? Or once again, we just going off what the fuck somebody done told us? It's just like with the show that I did yesterday. And 9 times out of 10, probably out of all the other shows that I've done, right? A lot of the stuff that goes on with this society, whether it's here in the United States or you carry your ass across that water, a lot of us do shit because of what the fuck somebody else done told us. Just like I said, now some of this shit, for the most part, you can't actually like really work your way around. Say like going to school, for example, right? Now unless you and your parents actually really feel the exact same way about the educational system in this country. And then if you decide not to go to school, then hey, by all means, right? Because nobody actually really said that you had to go to school to actually really be a success. But the whole thing about it though is this: whether you go to school or not, you still gonna come across this motherfucker. A piece of paper that for the most part ain't worth the paper that it's printed on. Because if you actually really know what the definition of legal tender is, then a lot of times you may not want to carry your ass to work. You may not want to go to school. But the thing about it though is this: until something else come about, where that for the most part that we can still have the money or the bullshit money and not actually really go to work. Now you can actually really look at that and be like, okay, well, the coronavirus, if indeed there is a virus, and again, if indeed it is a virus, could be a good thing. You still getting the bullshit paper, but you ain't got to do that in the process. It's something what the folk on welfare been doing for years. And maybe, just maybe, they had this shit figured out day one. But even with them, right? They still done got caught up in the madness, right? All of this shit here it was designed since day one. And then, like I say, if you haven't really know anything about how money actually really came about, because for the most part, it was actually like really stopped once before. And then when Woodrow Wilson came into play, these same greedy ass folk, right, that Thomas Jefferson run off, they actually really came back and they did it. They did it while everybody was on vacation, Christmas vacation. And so at the start of the new year, guess what the fuck was in place? The Federal Reserve. Now I said, like I say, it's a privately owned bank, but they never tell you who owns it, right? Maybe because of the simple fact that it's private. And then they quick to tell you it's not government owned. It's not government owned, but the government getting this money from these people. So a lot of y'all might be saying, well, okay, but where are you going with this? What I'm trying to tell y'all, or what I'm going to tell y'all, is that the Federal Reserve is nothing more than the United States government actually really keeping the books straight. And it's too easy to actually really say, well, you know what? We're going to say this is private, right? But we're going to make it publicly known that we get our money from y'all. So you got to ask yourself, okay, well, what the fuck is, so now you got to ask yourself, okay, well, what the fuck is wrong with that picture? Right? I mean, because if I borrow some money from somebody, or if I borrow if I borrow money from a bank, the bank itself is not going to be privately owned. But then again, you gotta ask yourself, okay, well, what is the definition of being of a privately owned bank? Like, who owns it? I mean, because if you had to really stop and think about it, ain't nothing private about this shit. Because here's the deal. You got too many of these motherfucking Federal Reserve banks strategically placed all over the goddamn country. Right? So you mean to tell me that one individual owns all these banks? I doubt that very seriously. So all what I'm trying to tell you, all what I'm telling you people is this. Know what the fuck this is. Know what the fuck this is, what it truly is. And how the United States government has been giving everybody the long green and white weenie forever and a day. That's how you have to look at it. Why the fuck you think they killed President Kennedy? Because he saw it for what it was. With Executive Order 11110. And then we all know what the fuck happened to him in Dallas, Texas. So for all you so-called woke folks, and then for those y'all, if you put like this, if you out there working, making a living, okay, I got it, right? But just like I say, until something else comes along, that's gonna be a hell of a lot better than what the fuck we got going on now. Well, actually, if you actually just stop and think about it, it was a system in place that was actually really better than what the fuck we had. I mean, great the fact you gotta go way back in the day for that. Where it was nothing but just instant trade. Hey, you got what I need, and vice versa. So I would trade you this for this. Or I could be like, well, you know what? How do I grow that in my backyard? Right? So come show me how to do that. And then whatever the fuck that you don't know, right? I can show you the exact same shit. Right? And everybody live peacefully. But like I say, everybody want to call it progress or technology. Somebody got greedy. Probably because somebody was out there trying to buy a piece of ass. I really don't know. But when I was the case that brought about this motherfucker, right? The world has been in trouble ever since. Because they done found out, hey, look, if I go piss somebody off, go to war, I can make a whole bunch of these and put it in my pocket. And like I said, the Federal Reserve is nothing more than the United States government keeping track of what the fuck they do. The United States government don't owe nobody shit. Right? Because I just told you what the fuck this is worth. It ain't worth a damn. So who the fuck do they owe? Why are they still taking taxes out of us? Right? And then they're gonna sit up here and say, oh, well, it's for the elderly, Medicaid, for schools. You know the whole deal, you know the whole spiel. right? But then again, you got to ask yourself, okay, well, if it's for schools, then how come my child or children is still dumb as fuck? How come the elderly are barely getting by, right? How come a lot of citizens out there don't have proper medical insurance? Why is that? And you started taking taxes out of me every paycheck. Why is this the case? I'll tell you why it's the case. Because ain't nothing backing this piece of paper. That's why it's the goddamn case. But y'all won't though. Y'all won't though. But it's just like what I said, people. Y'all better start asking questions on how this shit is designed, who designed it, and why it's actually really in operation in the first place. That's what you gotta ask yourself. Like seriously. So with that being said, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell Big Dan, tell Big Bertha, tell your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your papa, motherfucker next door, cross the street, round the corner. Hollis Harris, aka the Medusa. Till next time, people.